Hi, we're Team Voluntary Cooperation. For our first Learning Circle assignment, we chose the topic Leadership in Movies. We chose the movie Ender's Game because it has multiple exceptional team leadership scenarios. This movie predominantly demonstrates how the presence of strong leadership qualities can have a positive effect on followers. Each member of our group chose a different scene and examined how the leader's leadership characteristics depicted productively affected their followers. We reviewed several leadership approaches represented in this movie, such as the trait approach, the skills approach, the behavioral approach, the situational approach, and team cohesion.
The first leadership approach is the trait approach. The trait approach targets a specific set of traits that we generally see in leaders. While there is no agreed upon list of exact traits a leader should have, there are certain traits that are repeated in many leadership trait assessments. The interactive leadership assessment in Northhouse's text contains many of these common leadership traits, which are all listed below. It is thought that if an individual scores high on many of these traits, that they have an aptitude to be an effective leader. Over the years, there have been various studies performed on the traits associated with the leadership approach. This table highlights some of the major studies that took place over the past century. Some studies contain many of the same traits, while others are completely different from one another. For example, intelligence is mentioned in 1948, 1959, and 1986. In 2017, it is further broken down into emotional intelligence. In one scene of Ender's Game, Ender is placed in a living quarters with other children, who are referred to as launchies. These children despise Ender as Graf singled him out as being the chosen one earlier on in the movie. When Ender finds out that the launchie's email is being blocked, he confronts Graf in front of the other launchies. The launchies appreciate Ender's assertiveness, as they were too scared to say anything themselves. As General Graf leaves, the launchies smile at Ender as a form of acknowledgement. Ender was able to make friends with the launchies by being an assertive leader and asking questions.
The second leadership approach is the skills approach. The skills approach suggests that effective leadership depends on three basic personal skills. Technical skills play an essential role in producing the actual products a company is designed to produce. Human skills are people skills. They allow a leader to assist group members in working together as a group to achieve common goals. Conceptual skills, broadly speaking, are the abilities to work with ideas and concepts. The chart shows that technical, human, and conceptual skills are important in all three levels of management: top management, middle management, and supervisory management. One scene from Ender's Game. Ender was promoted to commander of the Dragon Unit, and he was given all the new soldiers that the other commanders didn't want in their groups. When the enemy's gate was down, he taught his soldiers how to fight and think for themselves, and not depend on him for instructions during battle. Because of Ender's leadership skills and innovative strategies, his group won every battle they fought in against other student armies, despite of being at a significant disadvantage.
In leadership, the behavioral approach focuses on the actions of the leaders. It divides between task and relationship behaviors. Task behaviors place a strong emphasis on work accomplishment, with each member having a set of responsibilities and a defined role. It is also critical on the organizational structure and on organized work. It places little focus on the individuals who make up the team and instead focuses its attention on the needs of the organization. In contrast to task relationship behavior places the needs of the individual ahead of the organization. It has a strong emphasis on the respect and trust of one another. It is also imperative on the relationship between the leader and the followers and on building camaraderie. In one of the final scenes, Ender is delighted his team was able to beat the simulation. That is, until he finds out it was not a simulation at all. His actions have destroyed an entire planet, annihilated a whole species, and caused the death of 1,000 men. He begins to question his actions. It was never confirmed that the alien species was going to attack. Had he known, he would have done things differently. He is distraught, and his actions are a display of relationship behavior by focusing on the needs of the individual. Graf, on the other hand, is ecstatic that the alien species was annihilated. Their destruction means they no longer pose a threat of invasion. In his mind, the 1,000 men who died were happy to do so for the cause. They are just collateral damage. His actions are a display of task behavior by focusing on the completion of the task.
The situational approach focuses on the leader's ability to adapt their leadership style to the demands of a specific situation. It includes two major dimensions, which are leadership style and development level. Leadership style includes a directive and supportive dimension, whereas development level describes the level of competency and commitment that followers have towards achieving a given goal. When leaders display directive behaviors, they're helping their team members accomplish goals by giving directions, establishing goals and methods of evaluations, setting timelines, defining roles, and showing how the goals are to be achieved. When they display supportive behaviors, they're helping their followers feel comfortable about themselves, their coworkers and other group members, and the situation overall. It involves two-way communication and responses that show social and emotional support to others. For leaders to be effective, they must be flexible by evaluating their followers' development level and then altering the level of their directive or supportive behavior to match it. The four leadership styles range from high directive, low supportive to low supportive, low directive. The four categories of development level range from developing to developed. In one of the scenes, Bonzo and a group of cadets tried to assault Ender after Ender's army beat his army during a training simulation. Unfortunately, Bonzo fell and suffered a head injury. Ender was devastated and blamed himself. This, along with Graf and the battle school blocking his outgoing emails and denying his request to visit his family, caused him to resign. Clearly, this situation caused Ender to lose the motivation and commitment that he once had towards realizing the school's mission. After Ender left, Graf brought his sister Valentine to visit him to encourage him to return. Fortunately, Ender made the decision to return, and Graf also agreed to allow him to send outgoing emails to his family. Graf recognized that although Ender was fully competent and able to help their army defeat the aliens, he no longer had the same level of commitment to do so. He showed that by providing Ender with the emotional support and sympathy that he needed at that given moment, that he was flexible and had the ability to adjust his leadership style to meet the demands of the situation.
Team cohesion plays a major part in the film, and how leaders can inhibit or promote trust within the group. Promoting trust within a group is vital to accomplishing goals as a team. Various methods are seen in the movie known to increase team cohesion, such as keeping group members within close proximity, wearing identical clothing, creating external pressures or hardships, reducing team member turnover, and utilizing the fear of exclusion. There are many more examples of how a leader can benefit a team in this film, but we believe these are some of the dominant themes. The first example of encouraging team cohesion and unity is when all the launchies are dressed identical on the flight to battle school, and then they are living in close quarters throughout the film. This is known to build team identity and stifle individuality in members. Graf creates external pressures on Ender and the Dragon Army when he forces them to battle multiple armies at once, as well as multiple battles a day without any warning. As it was exclaimed in the movie, this was never done before to any other army. This hardship continued to bring Dragon Army closer together and to understand each individual's contribution to the team. Graf is a great leader for this task of finding the perfect commander, and it shows when he leads Ender and his team to the goal with minimal member turnover. It is known that high turnover rates in teams can stifle performance and create turmoil within the group. Fear of exclusion to bring the team together is used when Ender politely retorts to Bernard when Dragon Army is created. Bernard had the choice of being exiled or jump head first into the team and be the best he can be. While there is no evidence that Bernard then turned to unethical behavior to accomplish the team goals after this moment, Bernard's mentality changed from an individual pursuit to a team-first approach immediately after the confrontation.
Which one of the previously discussed approaches can you personally identify with? Can you recall a specific situation as an example? By learning from the strengths of the leaders depicted in the movie Ender's Game, understanding the numerous approaches to leadership, and perceiving the importance of team cohesion, leaders will be equipped to steer their teams towards success.